Sister Wives Savanah hurt by Kody's actions. Sister Wives star Janelle Brown doesn't care how Kody treats her. However, she wishes he would step up and be there for his children. In a new interview, Cristin and Janelle said that more than anything, they wished Kody would mend fences with his kids. But the women know that will need to start with an effort on Kody's part. They just aren't sure he will ever step forward. Sister Wives fans feel sorry for Kody's children. As TV shows Ace previously shared, Savanah Brown has accepted that her father won't walk her down the aisle at her future wedding. Sister Wives star Janelle Brown confirmed the news in an interview with E! News. Without a doubt, it's incredibly painful for Savanah to reach this conclusion. She watched him walk her older sisters down the aisle, but knows it won't ever happen for her. Sister Wives fans felt heartbroken by the news. "My brothers will walk me down the aisle," a disheartened Redditor shared online, echoing Savanah Brown's words. In an interview, Janelle said Kody hasn't spent any time with Savanah in a year. She said Savanah told her it's okay. She will be cordial if he ever wants to see her, and she will keep it superficial. Janelle added, for a second time, that he hasn't tried to see Savanah this year, but said Savanah is coming to terms with it. She said, "I'm going to have my brothers walk me down the aisle." Janelle said she's so grateful her sons have really stepped up with Savanah. You could feel the anger under the surface of her comments. "This hit my heart." Viewers wholeheartedly sighed with Savanah Brown. Other Reddit users felt the same way as the OP. They shared heartbreaking comments, including, "In the ever-complicated world of sister wives, emotions are raw, hearts are fragile, and family ties seem to be unraveling faster than ever." For Savanah Brown, the once quiet daughter of Kody and Janelle Brown, the pain of her father's actions has finally pushed her to the forefront of the family drama. Once content to observe from the sidelines, her voice now breaks through the emotional storm, revealing the hurt that has been simmering for years beneath the surface. A daughter overlooked. Savanah has always been the quiet, steady presence in the Brown family, an observer more than a participant in the endless chaos that defines her family's plural marriage. As the youngest of Kody's 6 children with Janelle, she was used to being in the background. She watched her older siblings navigate the complexities of their father's divided attention, each handling it in their own way. But unlike them, Savanah had always hoped that one day her father would see her, not just as another child in the family, but as someone worthy of his time and affection. However, over the past few years, Savanah couldn't ignore the growing distance between her and her father. The once larger-than-life patriarch had become more detached, consumed by the shifting dynamics of his marriages. His relationship with Robin seemed to take precedence over everything and everyone, leaving Savanah feeling invisible. For a girl who never asked for much, the absence of her father's love and presence began to weigh heavily on her. As the family continued to fracture, Savanah found herself caught in the crossfire of her parents' strained relationship. Kody's once solid bond with Janelle had deteriorated to the point of near collapse, and the emotional toll it took on her mother was undeniable. Janelle, ever the pragmatic and resilient woman, tried to hold it together for her children, but even she couldn't mask the hurt and frustration that came with Kody's neglect. Savanah, too, felt the sting of her father's actions, but she wasn't quite sure how to express it. Growing up, she had learned to be self-sufficient, not wanting to burden anyone with her feelings. But as she watched Kody seemingly turn his back on her mother, that pain became harder to suppress. The tension in the family became unbearable, and Savanah couldn't help but wonder why her father couldn't make an effort. For her siblings, and most of all, for her mother. One moment that sticks out in Savanah's memory is a promise her father made to her when she was younger. It wasn't anything grand or extravagant, just a simple commitment to spend more time with her, to take her on trips and teach her how to drive. For Savanah, it was a sliver of hope, a sign that Kody still cared about her as an individual and not just as part of the overwhelming collective that was the Brown family. But that promise, like so many others, went unfulfilled. Kody's attention was elsewhere, on Robin, on the struggles of his other marriages, on the logistics of managing such a large and fragmented family. And, with each passing day, Savanah's hope that her father would make good on his word faded. The quiet disappointment she felt turned into a deep-seated hurt, one that she didn't quite know how to deal with. After all, how do you confront a father who seems to have forgotten you exist? It all came to a head during a rare family gathering when Savanah, no longer able to stay silent, finally voiced her feelings. The conversation started innocently enough, a question about Kody's whereabouts and why he hadn't been spending time with her. but the more she talked, the more her emotions spilled out. Years of pent-up frustration, sadness, and hurt flowed from her like a river finally breaking through a dam. "Kody, do you even care about me anymore?" she asked, her voice cracking with emotion. The question seemed to catch her father off guard. He blinked, as if seeing her for the first time in years, but his response was evasive, full of justifications and excuses. He spoke about the challenges of balancing multiple marriages, the stress of keeping the family together, but none of it addressed the core of Savanah's pain, the feeling of abandonment. "I know it's hard for you, Dad," she said, her voice soft but resolute. "But it's hard for me too. You're my father. I shouldn't have to fight for your attention. I shouldn't feel like I'm invisible." In that moment, the weight of her words hung in the air. The rest of the family watched in stunned silence, aware that this was a turning point not just for Savanah, but for all of them. She had finally spoken her truth, a truth that many of her siblings had felt but had never dared to voice so openly. Kody's response. Kody, for his part, seemed at a loss for words. He had always prided himself on being a present and loving father, but hearing Savanah's raw emotions laid bare shook him. For the first time, he realized that his actions, or lack thereof, had real, lasting consequences on the children he thought were resilient enough to handle the complex dynamics of their family. But despite his moment of self-awareness, Kody struggled to take responsibility. Instead of offering an apology or acknowledging Savanah's pain, he deflected, talking about the bigger picture, the challenges of plural marriage, and how he was doing the best he could under the circumstances. For Savanah, it wasn't enough. It never had been. In the days that followed, the air between Savanah and Kody remained thick with unresolved tension. While Kody tried to smooth things over with brief conversations and half-hearted attempts to reconnect, Savanah knew that the rift between them wasn't something that could be easily repaired. It wasn't just about missed promises or lack of attention. It was about a deeper sense of abandonment, one that would take time, effort, and genuine commitment to heal. Savanah, now more than ever, understood that she couldn't rely on her father to be the person she needed him to be. Instead, she focused on her own healing, finding strength in her relationship with her mother and siblings. While the pain of her father's actions still lingered, she refused to let it define her. And so, as the Brown family continued to navigate their ever-evolving relationships, Savanah stood tall, no longer the quiet, overlooked daughter, but a young woman who had found her voice, even if her father still refused to listen.